All right, what's up, everyone? Connor Drake, Ethan Hurst, Will Lehman, another episode of Rivals. All right, we're gonna start with the Bears game, Bears Packers. I'll just talk about my side of it, and then I'll let you guys go. Um, I'm not gonna talk for very long. I just want to mostly talk about that last play. Um, First, I personally didn't have an issue with the play call. I've had a feeling before the play started that we were either gonna hand it to Monangai or do something like that. And it made sense. It makes sense with the receivers we have that Johnson trusted one of them to make a play or Caleb to just make a play with his legs and get us 1 yard. And then the other thing to think about with that is you're also going toward the boundary, so maybe you can get out of bounds and preserve a timeout. I know that's kind of like a second thought into deciding what play you're going to run there, but that is one thing I did think of. But I also understand the logic of just maybe you just hand it off to Monungai and trust this run game that's been so good and see what happens. But the one problem I did have with that play is it was pretty predictable. I mean, we had been running that play in short yardage situations the whole game. So yeah, Layman, I'll let you go ahead. Just if you have thoughts on the play or just the game as a whole.
No, I thought the play was very predictable. I feel like everyone in the building knew that was coming. I mean, the Packers had him boxed like immediately. Like they had like two linebackers and a defensive end just to go out immediately with him and just box him and force him
Absolutely.
like they forced him to throw, which I'm glad because I mean he had some good throws here and there last night, but overall it was another like 50% completion rate game from him. So forcing him to throw and make a play is like best case scenario there. I was so happy they didn't run the ball. But one of the things was I said if we limited the run game, I was going to feel pretty good, and I feel like we did limits it pretty well last night, especially in the first half. The defense was out there for a while in the second half, and they got tired, and that was obviously very noticeable. But overall, really solid game. Good game from Love outside of the interception. Christian Watson's looking really good. He's actually looking like a good replacement for Tucker Kraft too with the yards after catch and just big plays. Like that's been huge with Tucker Kraft gone. And then Jaden Reed. He had like four touches within the first two possessions, which was good to see. Jacobs had a strong day on the ground, and overall the defense stepped up when it was time in the on that final play.
Yeah, absolutely right. You just saw Caleb Williams start rolling out that way, and I instantly just saw four ugly green jerseys going with him. So
Yeah.
yeah, they were all over him. But I look back at the replay and you can see DJ Moore kind of he has an opportunity to get the ball to DJ, and then I saw Chase Daniel did a breakdown and he kind of did have an opportunity, maybe if he'd thrown the ball a little earlier to get the ball to Komet actually, but that's all like hindsight is 2020 stuff. I mean, that play is happening very fast. Yeah, to what you said about Christian Watson and the Packers had a lot of big plays in the pass game. Obviously, that's kind of been an issue for the Bears. I feel like all season is the secondary giving up big plays. Definitely had an unfortunate break with Kyler Gordon going down during pregame warmups, and I feel like we were really missing Tremaine Edmonds, like especially that one play where we had three dudes around Jacobs and he just broke a 21-yard gain. I was so frustrated. I feel like if we had Tremaine Edmonds in the middle, that probably not that our linebackers were lacking by any means, but those are situations where you feel like if you have a guy like Tremaine Edmonds,
That
you
was a
feel a lot better.
huge play
That was a huge
because
play. And it,
Montez Sweat was in on that tackle, I think.
yeah,
Like that's crazy breaking away from that. That changed the trajectory of that whole game.
but I thought the Packers also did really pick up our blitz as well. Especially because when we tend to send the house basically and then just leave our
Yeah.
DBs on islands. And that, yeah, when you have talented receivers like Christian Watson and a guy like Jordan Love who can really spin it, it just doesn't really work all the time. And I thought we should have maybe moved away from that after the results the first few times. I know that's what we've been doing consistently all season, but it was still kind of frustrating to keep seeing the results of that.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw, he was like, Jordan Love was like 7 for 9 with like 133 yards against the blitz. He did really good at picking it up. And then every time that the Bears would drop two linebacker or drop two safeties, like going to cover two, they would just call can every time and audible and just do a run for Jacobs. And it was working like all night.
That is
Like at four,
100%
like
yeah.
I noticed that because then those safeties would come in, and then that's when Jordan Love would leash one to like Bo Melton or Christian Watson, which the Bo Melton that was kind of a blown or the Christian Watson one, I think it was one of the two was a blown coverage by Jalen Johnson. He didn't like draw back or something, but
Oh he didn't drop back
yeah, he should have
where he
been
was supposed
covering.
to, and he kind
Yeah,
of left Brisker in a bad situation. Yeah, I do
that
remember
was
that. That was the
interesting.
big. Yeah, that was toward the end of the second half that happened, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, no, you're 100% right on all that. I was also personally, I was surprised. I felt like our play calling in the first half was that was the most conservative I've seen it all season. I think I understand that we're okay with um kind of a grind out low scoring game and with the way it looked like the first half was playing out, and also that the Packers pass rush was giving us a lot of problems in the first half. But I still thought it didn't even look like Ben Johnson's offense in the first half, honestly. I think we might have just dug ourselves a little too big of a hole. Um, Maybe should have been a little more aggressive in terms of play calling.
How much in part do you think that was because of Caleb starting off like 1 for 7
Right,
with like
exactly.
two
Like
missed
I said,
throws? Like he had that one third and 15, he just sailed it over Luther Burden, I think.
yeah, absolutely. Like that, yeah, like I said, the part of that was the Packers pass rush was really bothering us. And Caleb struggles. He's been struggling with accuracy all year, struggles early in games. But man, that last drive just felt like sprinting into a brick wall because it felt like here we go again. Like here goes the Bears comeback. Um, Caleb Williams is looking great, clutch Caleb, and then Monangai doesn't get the 3rd and 1. And I think every Bears fan's stomach dropped a little bit when he didn't pick up that 3rd and 1. And then you're in a tough 4th and short situation against a really good Packers defense that's been playing great all year.
That was the play of the day. That stop on that run, that tackle by Kingsley and Jannarba, that was insane because that was a side tackle. Like I actually do not know how he stopped that. Like
Yeah,
that was a crazy tackle by Kingsley.
yeah, for sure. That was definitely that had a big impact in deciding who won this game. First, what are your thoughts on the game? Because I know that your initial reaction was that you didn't like the play call on the 4th and short.
I honestly didn't know what they were gonna do on that 4th and 1. Um, I just feel like, I mean, overall, the Packers are just not the team you want to be playing when it's like 4th and 1 and game on the line. Like, they're gonna stop that run. And like, yeah, I do agree. I mean, I didn't really know what they were gonna do, so I can't really say the pass was predictable, but I mean, obviously it didn't work, so I don't know. It's a tough situation, and I don't hate the play call, but it is what it is.
I couldn't believe
Would
they
you?
didn't run it. Like I actually could not believe that.
I did well, that's what I was leaning. I thought they were gonna run it, to be honest with you.
Especially if the Packers, like our top rush defender, Devontae Wyatt, was out. So like I was just very surprised with the choice to roll out and just trust Caleb. But I mean, I guess he'd been scrambling all night though, so makes
Yeah,
sense.
there's both sides to it, and it's definitely like exactly like her said. That's just a situation you don't want to be in against the Packers because you're not going to tell me that if you run the ball on 4th and short that you don't have a little bit of an uneasy feeling running it right into the teeth of that Packers defense, despite how strong our run game has been all year. So that's just a really tough situation for the Bears to be in, and like yeah, like I said, you figured the Bears were either going to do that, what they did, or just hand the ball to Monungai, and the Packers probably knew that as well. But if you're the Bears, doing anything else in that situation just feels wrong.
I
So,
mean, you definitely can't pass in the shotgun formation there. Like that, that's like
right,
taken out of the picture.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I agree with both you guys. It's just from a Bears fan's perspective, it was a 10 out of 10 game and a 0 out of 10 result. And that's just how football is sometimes. Not that we played, not our performance was 10 out of 10, but just the quality on the field, like
That was a
the
good game. That
intensity and
was a
yeah,
good
the
freaking
competition.
game.
Yeah. And so from a Bears fans perspective, you're the biggest Broncos fans of all time this weekend. I'm gonna go back to 3rd grade and put on my Peyton Manning jersey and hope the Broncos can pull it off. And then we're gonna beat you guys by 2 scores at Soldier coming up on the 20th and then
Crazy.
win the division. That's what you're hoping for as a Bears fan. Um,
Well, I freaking hope you're hoping to win the division. Like, I think that's how every fan hopes.
yeah.
How how did the Bears go from first to like seventh? I'm still trying to comprehend
I mean,
that.
the Packers were on seventh going into that game.
That's
That's just
crazy.
it's because the NFC West is absolutely disgusting with the Niners, Seahawks, and Rams.
right? You
Yeah.
got the Bears, Lions, Packers in the north, and then you got the Rams, Seahawks, and Niners in the west.
And then you
So
got the 7-6 Bucks at the 4 seed, and the uh who's the other one? It's the Eagles at like 8-4, probably about to be 8-5 because they look terrible right now.
I promise I'm not just saying this because the Bears are in this position, but I saw this proposal the other day online. How would you guys feel about the NFL going to a structure where all the division champions still get in, but the seeding is based off records? So, for example, you
Oh,
don't have
yes.
7-6 Tampa Bay playing a home game. Would you guys be in favor of
That
that?
would have been huge last year for the
I
Packers
would.
and the Lions. That would have been huge for the Packers and the Vikings last year.
Yeah.
And instead, we get the Eagles and the Vikings got the Rams because, but like we both had better records than the 4 seed.
I know a
Yeah, I
team who would have
definitely would.
loved to have that in place is the Chargers. It feels like they're always playing a road wild card game against the
Yeah,
AFC South team.
that's
And
actually facts.
yeah. So yeah, I feel like. Did you have something to add, Hurst?
No, I'm in favor of that.
Yeah, I got you. All right, are we ready to switch topics here?
Yeah,
All right, we're going to Notre Dame right now.
Bruh.
bruh. This
Um,
dude.
am I lagging?
Yeah.
You're kind of there.
All right,
You
Hurst.
hear me?
What's your opinion
Yeah,
on Notre Dame, Hurst?
hold up. Yeah, he's gone.
Yeah, he's cooked. You go first.
Notre Dame absolutely got what they deserved.
Yep.
Um, I mean,
He's gonna go first.
I was see there. Anyways, I was watching the selection show during church. And I kind of just snuck my phone and was watching it in between my legs. And I saw Miami pop up on that screen. Oh, so happy, dude. And I mean, I knew going in, like, BYU was not going to get selected at large. Like, I had already accepted that. I knew it was going to be between Miami and Notre Dame. Was just absolutely hoping it was going to be Miami, and it was, and it made my day. And Notre Dame fans can suck it.
Yeah, Notre Dame is they're just the biggest, softest team in the sport. Absolutely the softest team in the sport right now for not playing in that bowl game. It's unbelievable.
That too.
How are you even gonna defend that as a Notre Dame fan? Think about 2023 Georgia where they got left out with their one loss being in the SEC title game to Alabama. They got dropped from the number one. They were ranked number one. They got dropped to six, left out of the field, and they still played Florida State in a bowl game. Florida State went 13-0, won their conference, got left out of the playoff. They had a lot more reason to complain than Notre Dame did right now. And
Hmm.
they, and granted, Florida State complained. They were moaning and whining just like Notre Dame is, but granted, they still played in their bowl game. Like people using you don't want to get hurt, you know, bowl games don't mean anything anymore. Those kind of defenses don't work here because that's not why Notre Dame isn't playing in a bowl game. It's because they're soft and they're hurt that they got left out, and also that they're scared of BYU.
Facts. You need to join a damn conference.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. You can't be complaining if you're not in a conference. Like you're sitting home every championship Saturday. Like
Exactly.
you can't just feel entitled to make the bowl game because you play Pittsburgh once a year as your one ranked win. Like and then get beat by A&M and Miami.
that's a big missing piece. I feel like that a lot of people aren't talking about. There's a big difference between willingly sitting at home on championship Saturday and oh, we're fighting to make our conference championship game and we didn't make it. Someone beat us out. There's a big difference there. Um, so yeah, and also Notre Dame complaining. We were talking about it earlier. You brought it up, Layman. Notre Dame complaining that the ACC was promoting Miami is also just total garbage. I think everyone can agree on that. Um,
Yeah, no, I mean that's your conference. Like
yeah,
the ACC wants to be represented. You don't want to like go in there with no teams as a Power Four conference. It doesn't matter that Notre Dame's in your basketball conference. Notre Dame's not even good at basketball. Like
for sure.
They're like, oh, it hurt our relationship. Like, no one cares if you, no one in the ACC is gonna be hurt if you leave them for basketball. Like, if anything, that's gonna make the ACC better, if anything, because Notre Dame's they're a bottom feeder, little sister of the poor every year in basketball.
There's another point about Notre Dame football is that no one is bigger than college football. I don't care how big Notre Dame fans think their brand is or any of that crap. Notre Dame needs their football team a lot more than college football needs Notre Dame football. 100%. So no one is everyone's pissed off that you're not playing in a bowl game because it'd be fun to see Notre Dame playing in a bowl game, but we do not by any means need Notre Dame playing in a bowl game. It would benefit the sport, but you're not bigger than everyone else. It's not how it's going to work. And I do think that college football, if this continues, needs to send that message. All right, you guys want to move on to talking about the actual decision, Bama, Miami, Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
what were your thoughts? What were your guys' thoughts?
Go ahead, Hurst.
Yeah, initially, like I was I was kind of surprised to see Bama at 9. I don't know. I mean, I didn't like seeing Miami jump BYU. Like, what do you guys think about that? Because like, would you say BYU got punished for losing the championship game?
I don't think they got punished for losing the championship game. I think they got punished for getting blown out in the championship game and got blown out by the same team twice.
So like,
I
w what is it then? Like, can you get punished for losing, or like, do you get punished for getting blown out?
I just think there's a difference between losing like 24 to 21 and 34 to 7
So why
because
didn't Bama drop?
they beat Georgia in the regular season. BYU lost
right.
34 to 7 like both times.
This exact scenario that's happening with these two conference championship games is exactly why the committee can't just come out and say, oh, like nobody can be punished for losing in their conference title game. Because with all due respect to BYU, we love BYU on here. You lost to Texas Tech in like blowout fashion twice. And then, like Lehman said, if you're Bama, you beat Georgia during the regular season and then you lose to them in your conference championship, but you beat them at their place. So that's every conference championship game has to have there's context to every game, and that has to be taken into account, is my reasoning for that. I know a lot of BYU fans probably aren't going to like that, and that's understandable, but I that's how I would explain it. And I think it makes sense to me personally.
I think it also comes down
You
to
also lose to
like Georgia's a
Florida
bowl
State,
team. What?
but you also lose to Florida State.
Right, definitely. But you're telling me that a 10-2 Bama team that lost to Florida State isn't going to get in the field though? Or shouldn't get in the field after they beat Georgia, beat Missouri on the road, beat Vandy at home. Tennessee at home is a solid win.
That's true. It's just like obviously I'm biased and it's so hard. Like trust me, it is hard to defend BYU because they got their butt kicked twice to the only team they've played that's in the field. So it's hard to defend them, but like I just always look at the analytics and stuff and it's like BYU compared to Miami and Notre Dame, it's like BYU has the highest strength of schedule and strength of resume. They actually played for their conference championship, unlike the other two. You know, Miami lost to two unranked teams. BYU's two L's are to a team that has a bye, so it's like, I mean, yeah, if you're BYU, don't get your ass kicked, but when it comes down to the stats, BYU looks like they should be the team that's in for the like the rankings.
Right. So here's the thing with that is, I mean, look just based off what you feel and what you've seen when you're watching football. Like if you put BYU next to Miami or BYU next to Notre Dame or BYU next to Bama. How do you feel? I know obviously Hurst is a little biased, but how do you feel about BYU winning those games just subjectively?
Mhm. It's a good question. I think they could beat Miami and Notre Dame, to be honest with you. I think they could.
I actually don't disagree with that. I think they beat Notre Dame and Miami. I don't think they beat Bama though. And that's
Yeah,
coming from an unbiased source because I do not
I
like
could get
Bama.
behind that. Obviously, they couldn't beat Texas Tech.
That's interesting because I'd feel more confident about their chances to beat Bama than both Notre Dame and Miami. Because I'll say this, if you had ranked the three, to me, this is subjective, right? If you had ranked the three teams based off eye test, it'd be one Miami, two Notre Dame, three Bama. Yeah, I do think Miami's eye test was better than Notre Dame. Not at the point of the season where they lost to two unranked teams, but you're telling me down the stretch, I mean, they were comparable at worst. And then I think if you go based off resume and maybe you throw some numbers in there, but mostly resume and game results, strength of schedule, you're probably looking at something like one Bama, two Notre Dame, three Miami. That's if you throw the head to head out of it and just purely look at the resume. So see, this is what the problem, Hurst, is you can't go just based off numbers, or you can't have the numbers carry more of the weight than how you feel subjectively about a team, or like or people call it the eye test, or you can't have you know strength of schedule take like a more a significant amount more of like weight than the eye test. Like it has to be a pretty even mixture of everything that they've shown you games 1 through 12 or 13. That's
Yeah,
my
I'd
take.
agree. But okay, let's talk hypothetical here. Let's say BYU in that championship game looked good. And, let's say they lost on a game-winning field goal. You know, 3 seconds left, up by two, lose on a game-winning field goal. They still wouldn't have gotten in my opinion.
I
They
think they would
still,
have.
I don't, they were not, you know, everyone was saying you win, you're in, you lose, you're out. So I don't think the competitiveness of that game really mattered. I think BYU had to win, and I mean, what do you guys think? I don't think if they played competitively and still lost that they would have been in.
To your point, it's a hypothetical. Like at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter a ton, but it's tough. So, um, I mean, the committee would have saved themselves a lot of skin throwing Bam, if you think about it, just throwing Bama and BYU in there and leaving Notre Dame and Miami out. Like that's a pretty explainable scenario if you think about it, especially if you're a part that's forgotten about if you're a BYU fan is no Arizona's ranked 17th and BYU beat them on the road. So that's arguably BYU's best win right there if we're going just based off the committee's top 25 and who they view as the best team. I feel like all the people are talking about is like the Tech games, and then maybe some people mention Utah sometimes. Like Utah, according to the committee, Utah and Arizona are both great wins, arguing from the perspective of a BYU fan. So, I mean, I personally feel like there's definitely a lot better of a chance they would have obviously got in with a blowout game, but to your point, like who knows? They could have just helped Notre Dame's case, and that maybe BYU doesn't drop. It's hard to tell. That's a really hard question. I don't have a great answer for you, unfortunately.
No, I get it. And it is what it is, and it's like BYU knew what they needed to do in that game, and they got their ass kicked again. Like you just can't do that. So it's on them, and they're out. So I like the bowl game though. Peach or the Pop Tart Bowl. That's a good game against Georgia Tech.
Yeah. Would have been fun if Notre Dame wasn't soft and was able to play you guys and you had the first two teams out. That'd be pretty cool. But Notre Dame's soft as all hell.
100%.
So yeah.
I agree.
Um, But what do you guys think? Let's take B just for this scenario, let's just take BYU out of this and let's just compare Bama, Miami, and Notre Dame and the decision the committee had in front of them. Like, do you guys think that the committee got it right at the end of the day?
Yeah, kept Notre Dame
Yes.
out.
Yeah.
Yes. How are you
Notre Dame
Because
gonna
was
the
just gonna walk in because they're an independent team and have a good name brand. Like,
like yeah. How are you gonna have Miami and Notre Dame that close in the rankings and still have Notre Dame above Miami? Like the head to head doesn't matter. Like why play the game at that point? Like Miami has the head to head. If they're ranked back to back, Miami should always be above Notre Dame. So I think they got it right.
100%. And that's one scenario. So there's three scenarios the committee had in front of them, and all the scenarios are making someone mad. So there's one. You're setting a precedent that non-conference head-to-head early in the September don't matter. You leave Bama out. I mean, are we going to argue that if Bama got left out of this field, conference championship games are probably done next year?
I agree with that because why would you risk your way to a bowl game?
Right, because 10
Like,
and 2 Bama would be in the field, no debate,
yeah,
if they didn't play in the SEC championship game.
yeah, you know,
Yeah, then
you can't punish someone for having an extra game. Like, they got to the extra game because they were good. I mean, that sucks as a BYU fan, but
yeah, I mean, yeah, if Bama got left out, then that's just like you don't even want that extra game.
Right. Yeah, and so that's the second scenario, and then what we got is the third scenario with Notre Dame being left out, and obviously the people that are mad is obviously Notre Dame, and then also BYU because they're like, why did we drop and not Bam? But that is the scenario of those three scenarios. I firmly believe made the most sense, and I think the committee at the end of the day did the right thing because, like I said, if you're gonna go based off just eye test, this wasn't the right move. If you're gonna go just based off strength of schedule and resume, this wasn't the right move. But when you combine all of that and give all of those things pretty equal weight and look at the entire season as a whole, the committee got it right. That's my take on it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
But
happy with how it, panned out. So,
yeah. Either of you guys seeing a timer, I'm not seeing one.
I got it. I'll just look when I text you guys.
Okay.
We got 10 minutes left.
All right, bet. Do we want to start making our raw picks here?
Yeah, let's make our raw picks.
Okay. Does anyone want to put their reputation on the line right now and go to war for JMU or Tulane?
No.
By the way, we all agree that this format probably has to change, right? Where there's a possibility that something like this could happen.
No, I kind of like this. I'm not gonna lie.
Someone's
Kind
okay,
of
okay.
electric.
Yeah, maybe the five. I think what really needs to be examined here is the conference tiebreakers that let Duke into the ACC championship game. That, yeah,
yeah.
okay.
That
Yeah,
was the problem.
that's probably the biggest problem here. I can get behind that for sure. Because I mean, if we're having like 10 and 2 Virginia or SMU or even Miami playing right now as an ACC champion and JMU's sitting at home, like this is a lot less of a controversy.
I don't I don't really like two G5 teams in the playoff
Yeah,
like at all.
JMU doesn't. Yeah,
How
JMU's. Yeah, go ahead.
JMU's
Sorry.
gonna get their ass kicked.
Yeah,
But like, yeah, Oregon's gonna kick their ass. But how is Miami that far down in the ACC standings? Like, how is Duke in the championship?
Well, because they had like four two-loss teams.
So
4-2
Miami
loss
had two
teams.
ACC losses, right?
Yeah, that was the well. So did Duke.
Yeah.
So tiebreaker was strength of schedule against strength of conference schedule, I believe.
Yeah, it was.
Which doesn't make any sense because Duke had played only one of those teams, and it was Georgia Tech, and they lost those teams, bunch of teams in that two-team tiebreaker.
And they played Virginia and they lost. They got smoked. Like
Yeah,
like
that is
the
true.
two teams that carry their strength of schedule, they got freaking bent over by.
But at the end of the day, that is not at all like that's the ACF. The tiebreaker is that's a ridiculous tiebreaker. ACC, that's on you. They don't have anything to be complaining about here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I did feel like we had to have that discussion. But back to the raw prediction. So yeah, we're all taking Oregon and Ole Miss. What do you guys think of this Bama uh Oklahoma game? Who you guys got?
I'm gonna take Alabama. I don't think, or at least when I watched Oklahoma against LSU, they didn't look that good.
I'm taking Alabama because I think Oklahoma's defense is good, but I don't think their offense is sustainable against these higher level. Like I don't think their offense is sustainable against the Bama defense.
This is definitely the first round game I'm the least confident in. And I will say this is the only way I would have maybe taken Notre Dame to win in the first, or sorry, I would have maybe taken Oklahoma to win in the first round was this matchup right here. Um, I'll say Bama for now, but that could very well change with my raw picks. I just don't really feel like Oklahoma has Bama's number like that. I don't know if it will happen a third time. And like you said, Layman, I don't know about Oklahoma's offense going up against this Bama defense.
Bama's got a good rush defense too. I feel like Oklahoma's very rush heavy.
Yeah. But you could absolutely see Oklahoma's defense having a field day too. That's my dilemma here. All right, we want to give our picks for Miami A&M. That should be. I think that's going to be the best game of the first round, personally.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Um, I'm gonna take Texas A&M.
I'm taking A&M. I feel like they found ways to win this year. Like, yeah, I feel like a lot of people think they're a little overrated, but I think they find ways to win.
I'm pretty confidently taking Miami here. I feel like we're gonna see why Miami belongs in this field at least once. Because I do feel like Miami at their best can win a national title. I that sounds crazy to say, I get it, but we all saw how good this team was when they were playing their best, and I feel like they got it at minimum get one minimum. So
It'll
I'm
be,
gonna
it'll be interesting if they beat A&M because A&M beat Notre Dame. So that's just gonna look really bad on Notre Dame, which would be
yeah,
hilarious.
that's true. Yeah, the farther Miami goes, the worse for Notre Dame at the end of the day. Okay, are we moving to the second round? We got time for that?
hmm
Okay.
Yeah.
So we got Oregon Tech.
Oh, that's a good game. I'm taking Texas Tech.
Give me
That's
Tech.
fair.
Their
That defense
defense
is
is
good.
suffocating. It is insane. Jacob Rodriguez is snubbed of a Heisman candidate, by the way. But give me Tech.
I'm gonna push against both of you guys once again. I'm going Oregon in this game. I feel like that five spot is such an advantage. You get the bye month at the four spot basically, and then Oregon's basically getting a warm up game and then going to play Tech. And Oregon is very overrated. Oregon's got the best run game in the country. I'll say that right now. They got Whittingham and Davidson, and then they got that third back who's also real tough. And if their offense is fully healthy and they're fully healthy on defense too, they can definitely win a national title. So I'm taking the Ducks. Who we got? Bama versus Indiana.
Indiana.
Screw the Big Ten. I'm taking Bama.
That's good logic right there, Layman. Yeah, Indiana is steamrolling Bama. Give me the Hoosiers for sure in that one. All right. Oh yeah, Ole Miss, Georgia. Who we got?
Georgia.
I'm taking Georgia.
Me as well. I agree with you guys
If one of
there.
the G5 teams is gonna win, it's gonna be Tulane because
Oh,
Ole Miss is in
100%.
shambles.
Yeah, I don't know if they really can, but you are right that if one of them were to win, it would be Tulane for sure.
That's the other crazy storyline. Hurst Retzlaff, is that how you say his name?
Jake Retzlaff. How ironic.
Wow.
That is crazy from a BYU perspective. Dang, how have we not talked about that yet?
That
Yeah,
kind
that
of
is wild.
That is so sad.
kind of came back to bite him.
He's not even like he's not a good passer. You look at the box score every game, he just has like 65 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. He's just a running QB. He's
Oh,
not
got into the playoffs.
uh, whatever. Better Bachmeier's still better.
All
Anyway,
right. Yeah, Miami OSU, who we taking? Or you guys have A&M OSU. I got Miami OSU.
oh, okay, yeah. So I got A&M OSU. I'm taking OSU still.
A&M.
Okay, this is just
This is Big
SEC
Ten. This is
Nope.
biases
SEC. Yeah,
finest.
yeah.
Nope.
Hope.
All right, explain it
Exposed.
then,
They're getting
Layman.
exposed. They got exposed versus Indiana. They played a soft schedule outside of Texas. A&M's coming to town.
All right.
All right, I guess I can't cook you too much, Layman, because at the end of when we make our final picks, I might be taking Miami to beat Ohio State. I'm not joking about that, but I don't have the balls to come on here and do it yet, so I'm taking OSU.
You've been high on Miami
But
all year. They were like, weren't they were your
You
dark
have
horse.
been
Like, I think,
very high on
I'm
Miami.
telling you, the
yeah.
two teams I've watched this year that have really, really passed the eye test for me are Miami and Indiana. So it's just a question of whether I trust my eyes or my gut or my brain at the end of the day. It's probably going to be a combination of all three, but absolutely the best two teams I've seen on the screen at any point this year are Indiana and Miami.
Fair enough.
Yeah. All right. So you guys got, are we good to do another round? We got time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got 2 minutes.
All right. You guys got Tech versus Indiana. Or Layman's got Bama.
Bama. Yeah.
Yeah, just pick that semifinal game. We all know the matchup we picked.
Tech.
Tech versus Indiana. Damn. I'm gonna take Indiana.
Yeah, this is one of the three games. It's going to be Miami, OSU, Oregon versus Indiana, and then the Natty's going to really trip me up in my bracket. I really don't know who I'm taking yet. I'll say Indiana for now. I could very well be taking Oregon in our final picks. That's one of another toss-up game for me. Who we got in the other semi?
A&M,
OS,
Georgia.
wait,
Yeah.
OSU in Georgia?
hmm
Ah, give me Georgia.
Yeah, give me Georgia. They have a lot of good wins. Played really well versus Alabama.
Yeah, I'm saying Ohio State for now, but if I put Miami here, I'm taking them to beat Georgia too.
That'd be a great matchup.
Yeah,
That would be electric.
might be a scripted thing. You never know.
Yeah.
All right, and then our raw, not final, raw natty pick is you start Hurst, Layman go second, then I'll go last.
Georgia, Indiana. Give me Georgia Bulldogs.
Georgia versus Tech. Give me the Bulldogs, sadly.
Now that I have a one versus two, I'm definitely gonna not pick this for my final bracket because this field is way too deep for a one versus two natty. But if this matchup happens again, I'm absolutely taking the Hoosiers again. I can't bet against this team. Give me the Hoosiers to win it as my raw pick. All right,
Uh,
good stuff, boys. Are we out of time?
just
All
about,
right,
yeah.
that was a great pod. We'll have a lot more content for you guys next week. We'll have our final picks. Connor Drake, Ethan Hurst, Will Lehman. Thanks for listening.